and welcome. Well, actually after my last video where I repaired a Voodoo Banshee and tried to repair a Voodoo 3, I didn't plan to make another 3DFX video so soon. I was sure that here it is just a broken memory chip which needed to be replaced, and I didn't expect it to be exciting enough for a whole video. Well, it turned out to be a cursed Voodoo card, even more than I expected. After the last video I was on vacation, but before it I ordered the video RAM chips so that they arrive at the time where I'm back. And so was it, the chips arrived and I decided to finish this project off camera. By the way, the chips which I ordered were Winbond W9816G6JH6 nanoseconds. I ordered 10 just to have some in stock when I need those. I mean, such a Voodoo 3 memory repair is quite common. Anyway, back from vacation, off camera I decided not to stretch this project any longer and directly soldered one chip onto the card. Well, I replaced the first chip as concluded in the last video. I didn't record everything in detail since I didn't expect it to be interesting enough for a video, as I already mentioned. Well, the new chip worked perfectly and the problem was fixed. The image was crystal clear, no stripes, no glitches, everything looked good. I made some tests in DOS. First, of course, the video memory stress test, which I mentioned in the last video already, and then the usual stuff, like Doom, Quake, you name it. I even made some Windows testing, 3D Mark 99 in particular, and everything looked fine. I tested the card on 2 different PCs with no issues. I already started to look for a proper cooling solution. The tests were running in the background and suddenly the image was broken. Unfortunately, I didn't capture that moment, but I recorded briefly how it looked like. The stripes were back and there were somewhat broken phones again. And so I decided that this case is by far more interesting than I thought. I mean, memory chips can get broken, of course. They are old, but on this card I suspect something what kills those chips one after another. Doesn't matter how many of those I replace, there is a voodoo curse on it. So there are 2 most common things which can kill a chip. Too high voltage and too high clock. So I started with the voltage. Luckily I have another fully working Voodoo 3 3000 which I used as a reference. I already tested the output voltage on the regulator and on both cards I get nearly 2.7 volts, which is fine. So probably the voltage regulator is okay. The supply voltage on the memory chips on the broken card is also fine, around 3.3 volts. Since I suspect that something on the card is killing the chips, I decided not to power it again until I know what it is. Otherwise, I would risk to damage even more parts on it. In the worst case, even the 3DFX chip itself. Off camera I already investigated a little bit, so let me share with you what I have so far. Let's start with the voltage regulator and measure the resistance to the ground. On the first pin, on the good card, we get 257 ohms. On the bad card, nearly the same. On the second pin, on the good card, there are 139 ohms. On the bad cards, again nearly the same. On the third pin, which is the voltage output pin, we get 257 ohms on the good card. And again, the bad card plays this game reliably so far. And now comes the interesting part, pin number 4. On the good card, we get over 20 kilo ohms, even 25 kilo ohms. But on the bad cards we get only 150 ohms. Oops, what's going on? Is it the regulator? Well, take a look at the datasheet of the used EZ1580 regulator. Pin 4 is control and the voltage on this pin is crucial for the generated output voltage. But it is not important now. The meaning of this pin is a red herring for us. Off camera I already desoldered the regulator and the resistance between 5 volts and ground on this card remained the same at 150 ohms. As you can see, the pin 4 on the voltage regulator is connected directly to the AGP slot. So it gets the 5 volts directly from there. In the datasheet, in the example setup, there is this decoupling capacitor C2, which could be half shorted. So I started to search for all capacitors on the card which are connected to 5 volts rail. And there were not so many, to be honest. Actually, I found 3 which could be potentially bad. I desoldered those caps one by one and checked the resistance, but none of those caps turned out to be bad. Even with caps removed from the board, the resistance of 150 ohms on 5 volts rail remained. Such decoupling caps are always located near the chips for the power supply stabilization. So the next culprit to check were the chips. As I previously said, I excluded the voltage regulator already. Then one of the chips on 5 volts rail was this 74LS logic IC, which I desoldered, and it was potentially fine, since again with the chip out of the low resistance on the 5 volt rail was still there. And then I extended the radius and found another chip which was also using 5 volts. Well, as I read the inscription on the chip, it struck me by lightning. It is number 3861. It is a bus switch which has multiple use cases, one of which is so-called level shifting. If you have 2 chips which want to communicate with each other, but one chip is using 5 volts data signaling and another one 3.3, then you use this chip to translate the data voltage levels. This chip is widely used on many Raspberry Pi projects, for example, if you need to connect it to some retro systems which used to communicate at 5 volts levels. Sending data at 5 volts to 3.3 volts chip often works for a while, but it is a slow death for the chips which are not 5 volts tolerant, like the memory chips on this Voodoo card. To be honest, I'm not sure why this chip needs to shift levels here at all. I would be surprised if the 3DFX chip uses 5 volts data levels to communicate with the memory. Maybe the reason is not level shifting at all. As I said, this chip has also other applications. But possible is that the chip is dead, leaking 5 volts towards the video RAM chips and killing those one by one. Okay, let's see. With the chip out, we have 2.2 kilo ohm. Nice. Let's check the chip. And we get 153 ohm. That's our culprit, definitely. Luckily, I have some not yet published projects which I'm working on and which utilize Raspberry Pi. There I also need the very same chip, and I already had some in my stash. The manufacturer is Texas Instruments, though, but the specs are basically identical to the one which was used here. Well, the bus switch is replaced, but it seems like this fix came already too late for some memory chips. Unfortunately, the error on the screen looks the same and the video memory test tool still reports memory errors. So it's once again the question which of the chips are broken. So I desoldered the first chip again to see if something changes, and the image did actually change a bit, but eventually this try and guess game became ridiculous, and I decided to take it more serious. I used the memory test tool as a starting point and analyzed the errors which it reported. I experimented a little bit with the chips. I soldered blobs to short some pins on various chips, and eventually I think that I got a quite good idea of how it all bonds together. With the gained knowledge, I wrote a tool which should put an end to the guessing game and just tell which chip is defective. And for this Voodoo 3, my tool told me that the chip which is bad is this one. Well, the tool says chip 5, but it is a prototype, and in an upcoming video I'll share some more details about this tool. But for now it is important that it told me which chip exactly is broken, and it reported only one broken chip. Luckily, the one which I replaced last time seems still to be alright. Let's try the card without that one chip, which is reported to be bad. Well, I'm not sure if this is what I was expecting to see, but the image is definitely broken. Interesting observation. I see some changes in the output of the memory tester, and what I see does totally confirm that my tool was right. As I said, the tool is still a very early prototype, but if it works, I promise to explain everything in a separate video. Now let me solder a new chip and see what happens. So, the new chip is soldered, let's power up the system. Aha! And would you look at that, the image errors are all gone. I'm happy to report that the video memory test doesn't report any errors anymore. That is awesome news and means that the tool which I made properly detected the faulty chip. I mean, this could be still a fluke. 1 out of 8 is still 12.5%, and it could be just a lucky punch. I'll have to test it with more than one case before I can make final conclusions. However, for this card, things do look great, and we got one full pass without any errors. Well, as you remember, it is already the second time that I got this card working. The real thing should be all the Windows tests, benchmarks and games. And what should I say? After last repair, the memory chip got broken after only around 20 to 30 minutes. This time I left this card running tests over and over again for 3 hours or so. All the usual suspects like Quake, Quake 2, 3D Mark 99 and also Unreal, everything worked fine. I let memory tests running every now and then between the tests, and it didn't report any issues anymore. So I would say that this card is finally alright again. Now, hopefully for real, if you have a Voodoo 3 card with broken video memory, keep an eye on this tiny bus switch IC. If it gets broken, it can mutate to a silent killer, which would destroy every memory chip you solder on your card. The problem is that you never know how long it will take. Some chips can stand over voltage for months, some get killed after only a couple of minutes, like in my case. As I mentioned in the last video, also heat is a problem for all Voodoo cards, and I still have this situation with the cooler. I ordered a couple of active coolers online, but they didn't arrive in time for this video, so unfortunately nothing exciting on that front. What could be exciting on the other hand is the outcome of this repair. To be honest, I'm somewhat happy that this card got broken again. This situation pushed me to make a tool which hopefully will help to repair more cards in the future. As I said, the tool is still a prototype, even proof of concept if you want so, but it seems to deliver some useful information and also gave me an opportunity to play with something what I had on my to-do list for a long time. But all that will follow in the upcoming videos, so if you're interested, you are welcome on my channel. And so far, we have another happy Voodoo 3, and I hope you enjoyed this repair. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.